Saturday on Denver 7, working to prevent violence in the metro.
Last year, Denver officers recovered more than 2,000 guns from individuals that should have never had them in the first place.
The event happening today, that's the first of many aimed at slowing down record-breaking trends our city leaders don't want to keep.
These are smaller yields, smaller weapons, but they still carry lots of radioactivity.
The Russian invasion in Ukraine is now entering its fourth week, why there's now a warning of potential nuclear war.
The love that I feel from it is just absolutely worth every minute of it.
Plus, a Marshall Fire evacuee turned to her own kitchen to help out neighbors in need. Good morning and welcome to Denver 7 News. I'm Jessica Crawford.
And I'm Katie LaSalle. Thank you so much for joining us here on this Saturday morning. And boy, is it a beautiful day in the neighborhood as we take a live look outside over the metro area, looking west into the high country. Oh, sun is shining and temperatures will be warmer this afternoon statewide. A very quiet day today in store with mostly clear skies over Denver City Park. More melting will occur over the metro area this afternoon as our high temperatures soar to the upper 50s. Mostly clear skies and dry conditions across the Front Range and Plains and into the high country today, and a warm up with highs in the upper 50s this afternoon. 60s return tomorrow, and then our next storm system is set to bring widespread snow back to the region come Monday. Temperatures outside right now we're in the mid to upper 30s. Centennial, Highlands Ranch to downtown Denver up through Broomfield, and your hourly planner for today you can see by 11 o'clock will be at 45 degrees. Daytime highs topping out in the high 50s. Now tonight clouds increase, winds kick up for tomorrow. Still one more mild day on Sunday. Temperatures return to the 50s and 60s, and then we'll start to see some snow move into the mountains and then across the plains. More on the snow totals we're expecting and the big cool down in store to start the week coming up in your extended forecast.
Thank you, Katie. Well, breaking overnight, a Colorado Springs police officer is now facing multiple charges, including a felony. The Colorado Springs Police Department says Officer Shane Reed was arrested yesterday on 4 charges, including 1 charge of second-degree kidnapping. According to our sister station in the Springs, police also say they first heard about allegations against Reed earlier this month and obtained arrest warrants yesterday. Reed is now in custody. The department's interim chief says while Reed does have the same presumption of innocence and is owed due process by our justice system, they're working to make sure that this officer is held accountable for his actions. Reed is now on administrative leave. Well, back here in the metro, 2 people are dead after being hit by cars on Colfax. Police say 1 person was hit while crossing Colfax near Children's Hospital. Well, that's when a Good Samaritan stopped to help. That person was also hit by another vehicle and killed. The first driver stayed to help, but that second driver didn't stop. Right now, investigators don't have a description for the hit-and-run vehicle. If you have any information, contact police.
Denver police are still investigating this morning after a 14-year-old girl died in a double shooting on Friday. Police were called to the area of East Montview and Ulster, and 14-year-old Eris Mabry was pronounced dead at the scene. A second person, also a teenager, was taken to the hospital. Denver police are investigating the shooting as a homicide, and so far, no word on any arrests.
Well, this latest shooting comes as Denver has seen 2 of the most violent and deadly years in the city's history. 96 murders last year, 95 in 2020. That's the most since the 80s.
But the Broncos and the cities of Denver and Aurora are teaming up to get guns off the street. And Denver 7's Christian Lopez joins us live now. And Christian, this gun buyback event, it's focusing on making the community safer.
Yeah, it is. The goal is to make sure that these guns don't end up in the wrong hands and to prevent them from being used in any violent crimes. This is just the first of many similar events that are going to take place. And looking at those numbers, last year in Denver, 82 community members lost their lives due to gun violence, and officials say they recovered around 2,000 guns from people who should have never had them in the first place, including several people who were underage. This event is a safe and anonymous place to turn in guns, and it will be a drive-through model. So if you drop off a gun, you'll stay in your car. You'll have to move it to the back seat or the trunk, and then someone will take it out and disable it for you. It is important to note, though, that if you are dropping a gun off, make sure that it is not loaded. And if you donate, you will get a Visa gift card. This is a joint effort put on by Denver, Aurora, the Denver Broncos, and a Colorado Springs nonprofit called Raw Tools.
Is strongly encouraging members to take advantage of these gun buyback events to dispose of unwanted firearms that may find their way into the wrong hands. Additionally, responsible gun owners can help make their community safer by locking up and responsibly storing their guns to prevent theft, misuse, and mishandling.
The event will take place from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is the first of 8 different events. The next one will take place in Aurora on April 9th. Live in Denver this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Christian, thank you for your reporting. And we know there are multiple perspectives to this idea. Denver police say these gun buyback events can eliminate the possibility of guns being used in crimes such as a shooting or a murder. But Ruth writes on Facebook, who believes that criminals are going to turn in their guns? Samuel writes, most of what they get will be beat up, useless guns. Then Blake writes, we don't need less guns, we need better education. And now we want to hear from you. What do you think about this gun buyback idea? Email us 360@thedenverchannel.com.
Well, the war in Russia is now entering week 4 with attacks increasing on Lviv. More than 3 million Ukrainians have fled the country to seek refuge.
And now there could be potential for nuclear weapons from Russia coming into play. And here's ABC's Christine Sloan.
As Russia's war on Ukraine enters its 4th week, the Russians firing missiles at Lviv from the Black Sea, hundreds of miles away. ABC's Martha Raditz is there.
With today's missile strike just there beyond the airport, the Russians are sending a powerful message. Lviv has been a critical place for refugees trying to get out of Ukraine and a critical pipeline for humanitarian aid and supply.
Those strikes just as President Biden met virtually with Chinese President Xi Jinping for almost 2 hours. Russia has reportedly asked China for military or economic help. And the U.S. says China will pay if they assist Russia in any way.
China has to make a decision for themselves about where they want to stand and how they want the history books to look at them and view their actions.
The U.S. and NATO are increasingly worried Russian President Vladimir Putin may turn to even deadlier attacks, including chemical, biological, or even small-yield nuclear weapons to gain the advantage.
These are smaller yield, smaller weapons, but they still carry lots of radioactivity, and they're still a big step along the scale of escalation to strategic nuclear war.
But Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky remains defiant, telling the Russian government that it's time to talk. Otherwise, Russia will suffer huge losses that, quote, several generations will not be enough to rebound. And in Lviv, 109 empty baby strollers were lined up in a city square, symbolizing 109 Ukrainian children killed in the war. Christine Sloan, ABC News, New York.
Hundreds of Coloradans have shown their support for Ukraine over the past month, and today is no different. There's another rally to show support for the country at our capital, and it starts at 2 o'clock. Organizers say 400 people showed up last weekend. There will be live speakers and items for sale, with profits being donated to Ukrainians in need. Well, if you're bracing for the cost to renew your car registration or your license, well, Colorado lawmakers are trying to make it less expensive for you. How soon fees could be postponed.
And if you're planning on hitting the road this weekend, we have some things for you to keep in mind to save a few bucks on gas.